The person who hurt you is about to be exposed by God. This will leave them speechless. Beloved one, listen carefully. Before you clicked, before your eyes rested on these words, heaven was already moving on your behalf. I am Archangel Michael, and I speak now with authority, urgency, and divine clarity. What was hidden is about to be revealed. What was whispered in darkness is about to be shouted into the light. And the one who thought they escaped consequence is about to stand speechless before the truth. I know what you endured. I saw the betrayal that smiled at you. I heard the lies spoken behind closed doors. I witnessed the moment you questioned yourself, wondering if God truly saw what they did to you. Hear me now, God saw everything. The silence you were placed in was not punishment. It was preparation. Heaven was gathering evidence while you were learning how to breathe again. While you cried in private, God was allowing the wicked to speak freely, because every careless word they spoke became part of their exposure. You were not crazy. You were not too sensitive. You were not imagining the shift. The discomfort you felt lately, the sudden heaviness around certain people, the strange distancing, the intuitive warnings, that is not fear. That is discernment awakening. Something has shifted in the spiritual realm, and the person who harmed you can feel it. They don't know what is coming, only that something is. And it terrifies them. They thought time would bury their actions. They believed if they stayed quiet long enough, the truth would dissolve. But listen, truth does not expire. It waits. And when God decides the moment is right, truth does not knock gently, it arrives with force. Right now, conversations are happening that do not include you, but they are about you. Questions are being asked. Patterns are being noticed. Someone is replaying moments they once ignored and realizing something does not add up. The very narrative that was used against you is beginning to crack under its own weight. This exposure will not come from your mouth. You will not need to defend yourself. You will not need to explain. God Himself is stepping in. And when this unfolds, it will shock you how quickly things turn. The same people who doubted you will suddenly see clearly. The same person who hurt you will struggle to explain themselves. Words will fail them. Their confidence will crumble. Not because you attacked, but because truth stood up. Beloved, do not interfere with this process. Do not rush it. Do not reveal what God asked you to guard. Your restraint is part of the judgment. I know you want vindication. I know part of you wants them to feel what you felt. But God's justice is precise. It does not embarrass, it exposes. It does not shout, it reveals. And when it happens, it leaves no room for denial. Right now, heaven is rearranging circumstances. Delays are intentional. Silence is strategic. The pause you're in is the final moment before the reveal. Something is about to be said, discovered, or witnessed that shifts everything permanently. Pay attention to your dreams. Notice the names that come to mind unexpectedly. Observe who suddenly becomes nervous around you. These are signs. If this message resonates in your spirit, gently support the work by staying connected. Your presence here matters more than you know. And as you remain still, remain faithful, remain discerning, watch how God handles what you could not. Because what comes next will not just clear your name. It will redefine the entire story. And when the truth finally surfaces, the one who hurt you will realize too late that heaven never forgot. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next will explain exactly how this exposure unfolds, and why it will happen when they least expect it. Beloved one, remain with me. What I speak now is not comfort alone, it is revelation. Because the exposure that is coming will not arrive the way your mind expects. God is not about to confront them publicly right away. First, He is dismantling them internally. And this is the part no one sees. The person who hurt you is already unraveling. You may not know it yet, but their peace has been disturbed. Their sleep is fractured. Their confidence feels hollow. The same energy they used to manipulate, dominate, or deceive no longer works the way it used to. They are replaying moments in their mind, moments they thought were buried, and something feels wrong. The story they told themselves is no longer convincing them. This is how divine exposure begins. God always confronts the heart before He confronts the world. He allows the conscience to awaken. He removes the numbing comfort. He lifts the veil just enough for them to see themselves clearly, and most cannot bear the sight. That is why you may sense a strange tension lately. That is why they may suddenly act defensive, quiet, or overly reactive. That is why there is a subtle fear behind their words. They feel the shift, but they don't understand it. Listen carefully. When God decides to expose someone, He does not rush. He allows them time to repent. He gives them moments where they could tell the truth on their own. But pride is loud, and ego resists surrender. And when they refuse correction, exposure becomes inevitable. You, however, are being shielded. There are things you wanted to say, but God stopped you. There were moments you could have defended yourself, but something told you to stay quiet. That was not weakness. That was obedience. Heaven was protecting your integrity while gathering undeniable proof. What is about to surface will not be gossip. It will not be accusation. It will be undeniable alignment of facts. A contradiction will be noticed. A lie will collide with evidence. A pattern will become too obvious to ignore. And when that happens, the person who hurt you will have no script prepared. They practiced explanations for years, but none for this. Because this exposure comes from an angle they never considered. Someone unexpected will speak. Something archived will resurface. A truth they forgot about will reappear at the exact wrong moment for them. This is why I told you to stay still. Your calm has confused them. Your silence has unsettled them. Your peace has become a mirror they cannot escape. They expected you to react. They expected you to lash out, to explain, to beg to be believed. When you didn't, it forced them to carry the weight of their own actions alone. And now that weight is crushing them. Beloved, I need you to understand something important. This exposure is not about revenge. It is about restoration. God is not just revealing what they did, He is restoring you. Your name, your credibility, your self-trust. There are blessings that were delayed because your spirit was wounded. There were doors that could not open while confusion lingered. This exposure clears the atmosphere. It removes the fog. It gives God permission to move you forward without resistance. That is why the enemy fought so hard to silence you. But silence does not mean erased. Even now, angels are arranging timing. Conversations are being nudged. Memory is being awakened in people who once overlooked the truth. Someone is connecting dots they previously ignored. And once that realization hits them, it cannot be undone. When the truth comes out, it will not need explanation. People will feel it. There will be an immediate shift in energy. A pause. An awkward silence. And then realization. The person who hurt you will feel exposed not because you spoke, but because God answered. You may even feel compassion when it happens. That does not mean you were wronged less. It means you healed deeply. It means your heart did not become like theirs. Stay aligned. Stay observant. Do not announce what you sense. The closer exposure gets, the quieter heaven asks you to be. If these words resonate, stay connected here. This space is not random, and your presence strengthens the timing. Something is aligning faster than you realize. And what unfolds next will explain why this exposure will happen suddenly, publicly, and in a way that permanently changes how others see both you and them. Remain attentive, because what I reveal next will uncover the exact moment everything turns. Beloved one, breathe, and listen with your spirit now. Because what I reveal in this moment is not about if the exposure happens, but when. And the timing will feel sudden, but it has been calculated with divine precision. There is a moment approaching, an ordinary-looking moment, where everything shifts. A conversation that seems casual. A meeting that appears routine. A message, a document, a memory, a question asked without suspicion. And in that instant, the truth slips through the cracks they tried so carefully to seal. This is how God works. He does not expose through chaos first, He exposes through clarity. The person who hurt you will be caught not because someone attacks them, but because reality no longer agrees with their version of events. Their words will not align. Their explanations will feel rehearsed. Their energy will betray them before their mouth does. And the room will feel it. There will be a pause. A silence longer than expected. A look exchanged between others that says, something is wrong. Beloved, this is the moment heaven has been preparing for. They believed they were in control because they managed appearances. They curated perception. They controlled what others saw. But God does not need exposure to be loud, He needs it to be undeniable. And when truth stands on its own, it does not need defending. You will not be present when the first crack appears. You will hear about it later. And when you do, something in you will go still. Because your spirit already knows. Do not underestimate the power of time. Time reveals what force cannot. God allowed them to continue because the longer they spoke, the more they contradicted themselves. The longer they pretended, the more obvious the mask became. Now, their own history is about to confront them. Someone will remember something they dismissed before. Someone will revisit a detail they once overlooked. Someone will compare two versions of the same story and realize they don't match. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. And as this unfolds, you may feel an urge to finally speak, to clarify, to confirm, to add context. Resist it. Not because your voice doesn't matter, but because silence at this stage is powerful. Let God finish what He started. The exposure will be clean. The revelation will be precise. And the aftermath will speak louder than any words you could offer. The one who hurt you will not know how to respond. They will attempt to regain control, but the atmosphere will no longer support them. Their charm will fall flat. Their confidence will waver. And for the first time, others will see what you sensed all along. This is when perception changes permanently. Beloved, I need you to understand the weight of this. Once truth is revealed at the right moment, it cannot be unseen. Even if people try to ignore it, something shifts inside them. Trust erodes. Doubt settles in. And the image that once protected the wrongdoer begins to crumble quietly but completely. You are not being restored to the past. You are being positioned for the future. The reason this exposure had to happen before your next elevation is because God refuses to take you higher while confusion lingers below. What He is about to give you requires clarity, credibility, and peace. And that cannot coexist with unresolved deception. So while it may feel like this is about them, it is actually about you. Your nervous system is healing. Your intuition is sharpening. Your discernment is no longer apologetic. You will walk differently after this. Not louder, but lighter. Not hardened, but grounded. And those who once doubted you will begin to treat you with a new respect they cannot explain. And the one who hurt you? They will know. They will feel it. They will recognize the shift. Not because you confronted them, but because heaven did. Beloved, you are closer than you think. The signs will increase. The tension will peak. And then, suddenly, release. Stay present. Stay observant. Stay humble. If these words are confirming what you've already sensed, remain connected here. What comes next will reveal why the exposure will not only silence them, but open a door you never expected, and once that door opens, your life will never return to what it was before. Listen closely, because the final phase is already in motion. Beloved one, what unfolds next is the aftermath, the phase few speak about, yet many feel. Because exposure is not an ending. It is a crossing. And once truth is revealed, nothing returns to its former shape. When the moment passes, when the silence settles, when the realization lands, you will notice a shift that feels subtle but irreversible. People will not rush to apologize. Some will not acknowledge it openly. But their behavior will change. Their tone will soften. Their eyes will avoid yours, not out of guilt, but recognition. They see you now. The atmosphere around your name will feel different. Where there was hesitation, there will be respect. Where there was doubt, there will be quiet confirmation. You won't need announcements. You won't need validation. Truth has a way of speaking for itself long after the moment has passed. And the one who hurt you will feel something they never anticipated, not public humiliation, but loss of influence. They will notice people no longer lean in the same way. Conversations shorten. Trust thins. Their presence no longer commands attention, it demands explanation. And that is something they are not prepared for. Because control was their safety. And control has slipped through their fingers. This is why God waited. Exposure without transformation hardens the heart. But exposure after inner collapse humbles it. The person who wronged you is now facing the consequences of their own choices, not imposed by others, but revealed by truth. And this realization will haunt them more than confrontation ever could. You, however, are stepping into a new posture. There will be moments you feel tempted to revisit the pain, to reanalyze what happened, to replay the injustice. But hear me, do not return to what God already closed. The door you cried over is now sealed behind you for protection, not punishment. Your healing has reached a threshold. What once triggered you will now barely register. What once consumed your thoughts will feel distant, almost foreign. This is not numbness. This is release. Your spirit has been unhooked from the wound. And with that release comes movement. Opportunities will begin to present themselves, unexpected, unforced, aligned. Invitations. Connections. Ideas. None of them will feel rushed. None will feel heavy. You will recognize them by the peace they carry. This is restoration. God does not merely expose wrongdoing, He restores rightful positioning. He returns what was delayed. He realigns what was distorted. And He does it in a way that does not require you to relive the trauma. But I must warn you gently, not everyone will celebrate this shift. Some will struggle with the fact that you emerged without bitterness. Some will feel uncomfortable with your calm. Others will question how you remained steady while the narrative collapsed. Their confusion is not your burden. Let them process it without explanation. You are not responsible for managing reactions to truth. Stay anchored. Stay gracious. Stay discerning. Because the exposure has activated something else, a spiritual reset. The season you are entering requires boundaries, clarity, and restraint. Not everyone who watched your fall deserves access to your rise. You will feel prompted to say less. To choose privacy. To protect what God is building quietly around you. Honor that instinct. It is wisdom, not fear. And listen carefully, forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. You may release them without re-entering the dynamic. You may bless them from a distance without reopening doors. God is not asking you to forget, He is asking you to move forward unentangled. The chapter with them has ended. What remains is your future, unburdened, undistracted, and aligned. If you sense peace rising where anxiety once lived, that is confirmation. If your body feels lighter, that is evidence. If your intuition feels calm instead of reactive, that is healing completing its work. Beloved, you are not late. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You were protected. And now, as the dust settles, something extraordinary is preparing to meet you. A door that only opens after truth clears the path. A blessing that could not arrive while deception lingered nearby. Remain present. Remain humble. Remain ready. Because what I reveal next will explain why this exposure was only the beginning, and how what God releases next will surpass everything you thought you lost. Beloved one, come closer in spirit now, for this is the culmination, the unveiling not of their downfall, but of your ascent. What God allowed to be exposed was never meant to define you by pain, but to free you for purpose. And now, the path ahead opens with a clarity you have never known. There is a release happening in the spiritual realm. A weight has lifted from your name, from your path, from your future. You may feel it as a quiet confidence, a steady breath, a calm certainty that no longer asks for permission. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Heaven has cleared the residue of confusion so you can move without resistance. What comes next will not be announced loudly. It will arrive gently, almost unassuming, but it will change everything. A door will open that feels natural, not forced. A connection will form that feels safe, not strategic. A calling will stir that feels familiar, as if it has been waiting for you. This is God restoring momentum. The season ahead will reward discernment. You will notice you no longer chase validation. You no longer over-explain. You no longer shrink to maintain peace. Your presence will speak with quiet authority. And those who encounter you will sense depth they cannot quite name. You were refined in the hidden place. While others misunderstood your silence, God was strengthening your voice. While they questioned your restraint, heaven was sharpening your discernment. You did not lose time, you gained wisdom. You did not lose ground, you gained clarity. And the one who hurt you? They will watch from a distance. Not with power. Not with influence. But with awareness. They will recognize the shift they cannot access. They will see doors open for you that no longer open for them. And for the first time, they will understand that what they tried to destroy became the very ground from which you rose. Do not let this harden your heart. Carry compassion without contact. Grace without access. Peace without explanation. This balance will protect you. Beloved, your testimony will not be what you say, but how you live. People will ask how you moved on so cleanly, how you emerged so whole. And you will smile, not because you forgot the pain, but because it no longer owns you. There will be moments when the memory resurfaces, not as a wound, but as a reminder of how far you've come. Let those moments anchor gratitude, not grief. You survived what was meant to silence you. You healed where others stayed bitter. You trusted God when it would have been easier to harden. This is victory. Now hear this final instruction carefully. Guard your next season. Not everyone deserves front-row access to your peace. Not every invitation is aligned. Not every familiar voice is safe. Discernment will be your compass. Stay connected to what nourishes your spirit. Stay aligned with truth, even when it costs comfort. And when you sense God asking you to pause, listen, because obedience will always protect what ambition cannot. If this message has spoken to you, remain here, stay grounded, stay connected. Quietly support what feeds your spirit. There is power in alignment, even in subtle acts of agreement. Heaven notices consistency more than noise. Beloved, this is not the end of a painful chapter, it is the beginning of a powerful calling. What God is about to entrust to you requires the strength you gained in the fire. You were not broken by what happened. You were forged. And as you step forward now, lighter, wiser, freer, know this with certainty. The truth has spoken. Justice has moved. Your path is clear. But do not rush. Because what unfolds next, beyond restoration, beyond vindication, is a divine assignment that will reveal why you had to endure what you did, and when that purpose becomes clear, everything will finally make sense. Walk forward with confidence. Heaven goes with you.